Esteban also starts convulsing and trembling.
They're coming to get you.
The fact.
On October 14th, 2005, the Sweet Life episode entitled Ghost of Sweet 613 aired on the Disney Channel, and most of its millions of viewers at the time were shook and considered the scariest Halloween Disney episode. Even Reddit agrees, so it has to be true. But I'll be honest, Disney is kind of hit or miss with scary. I think a lot of us can agree with this. There are a few exceptions, don't get me wrong. It's mostly corny, but I love scary corny. That's kind of why I created this channel. So the first thing that makes this episode stand out is the dark backstory that a lot of Disney episodes, even for Halloween, don't really have. And this entire incident was so significant for the twins that it was mentioned in the Halloween episode on Sweet Life on Deck seasons later. Not only was Irene's story incredibly tragic and sad, where a betrayed woman angry at the infidelity in her marriage throws a silver hairbrush that her ex-husband had gifted her at a mirror, breaking said mirror and ending her own life in the process. Which is kind of far-fetched, but I love it. I love an unrealistic, scary story. A story similar to the Victorian-esque inspired tale of a wronged woman haunting the place she used to live, either because she was wrongfully treated when she was alive, or maybe had suffered a tragic death, and now she's looking for her revenge. And to make matters worse, we have Mr. Mosby's backstory that kind of confirms that this room is in fact haunted. Although it seemed like a prank that was being played on Zach, in the end we were still left with a lot of unanswered questions. I feel like I'm overanalyzing this, but whatever. These mysterious and gruesome tales immediately set the tone and atmosphere for the episode as extremely dark. Speaking of the atmosphere, everything about it, from like the dark room, the haunting music, the storm going on outside. There's also a quick scene of a gargoyle, and gargoyles were used for many reasons, one of which is keeping evil spirits away. So one may wonder why it was placed there in the first place. Is it just a coincidence, or did someone know about Irene and maybe put it there to protect the rest of the hotel? What other secrets could the Tipton be hiding? Especially when we look at the other Halloween episode in Sweet Life entitled Arwenstein, where we find out Arwen has a secret room behind a bookcase in the hotel.
What's the worst that could be in there?
Maybe there's more to the story with Irene as well. And perhaps Esteban knows more than he let on. After all, he's the one who suggested that they do a seance for the ghost in the first place.
Apparently the spirit is calling us.
Speaking of Esteban, the cherry on top was the seance scene. Esteban takes the time to get the group to hold hands, light a candle, and search for Irene's spirit in this notorious hotel room. Esteban's voice change, his trembling and convulsing motions, and the fact that he becomes a vessel for Irene's voice, giving a very disturbing image for the young audiences watching. They knew that they didn't need to go full force with the scariness. The subtlety is enough and appropriate, and frankly, even more scary. Especially since we're used to seeing Esteban as a playful character, rarely ever serious about anything. Disney follows the same formula that a lot of haunting scenes in various shows and movies use. The seance starts, the spirit shows up, the medium, who in this case is Esteban, becomes possessed by the spirit and ends up speaking for the ghost. Esteban essentially becomes the ghost, and then everyone starts disappearing and Zach is left alone to fend for himself, not knowing what's next or what is about to happen.
She's here.
They're here.
What does happen next is he sees a dancing skeleton, likely an homage to the earliest recorded Disney black and white film showing macabre imagery of skeletons dancing in a graveyard. You cannot get spookier than that. Moving on, apart from this dark-ass seance that was held, there was also the flashlight that Arwen is holding, the way that they played with shadows and made it look like he was holding a club and about to whack them all to death, the malfunctioning ghost detector that was probably malfunctioned by the ghost herself. Cody even tells this seemingly accurate fact about the weather being a good environment, the lightning being a good environment to pick up ectoplasmic manifestations. They just included a lot of legitimate facts and horror tropes for a usually innocent, family-friendly Disney episode. The haunted hotel room and informed staff were one of the reasons the episode catches your attention from the start and makes it stand out among a sea of silly Halloween Disney episodes. Even though the whole thing ends up being a prank on Zach and not as real as they were making it out to be, there's still this lingering feeling of like maybe they didn't see the ghost this time, they will next time. We also have the woman in the hallway talking about how people will pay more for a haunted hotel room, and then Mosby's story is still true, right? That wasn't a prank. So there's this lingering feeling of like maybe there is something there, but for now there isn't. Where we thought it was all a setup and then now we're not sure. In the very last scene of the episode, Irene is seen going back into the painting with this teleportation sound effect in the background, similar to a sound effect we would hear on Charmed. And what's scariest of all is you're watching this from a child's perspective, and you also may have watched this when you were very young. Either way you spin it, it's kind of nightmare fuel. Like I said earlier, this particular episode lacks the traditional Sweet Life / Disney early 2000s episode structure. There's not as much comedic relief. There's fewer feel-good moments. It's supposed to be taken seriously, and it's supposed to have this lasting effect on the audience. The episode just has a lot more tension, and it has this double ending. And the fact that London, Maddie, Esteban, and Arwen, who are basically the adults of the show, or at least a lot older than Cody and Zach, they take it so seriously that the viewers believe it more as a result.
Disbelievers will be punished.
I'm so scared.
It becomes more enticing and kind of a mystery that needs to be solved. How do they help Irene cross over to a better place, as Esteban puts it? But we don't really get that closure, and that's what keeps us all thinking about the episode over 2 decades later. It's a cliffhanger ending that never got resolved. One could also speculate that Irene sometimes goes to other hotel rooms at the Tipton Hotel. Did anyone think that as a kid when they watched this episode? But hopefully this Irene and all of the Irenes of the world with a similar story are doing better these days wherever they are. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment, and hopefully the sound is better this time. This video was kind of my second homage to Summerween. I'll probably make it a series, but leave me suggestions, if you want. I will see you next time. I love you. Bye.